Yeah, this is the best version of Cleopatra that I saw in my life. I saw another version but they were not pleasant. In change this version or series for TV, is special, clear, love, betray, I could feel the feeling of the actors and actress. Wonderful the interpretation of Mark Anthony, Billy Zane, Julius Caesar, Timothy Dalton, and Cleopatra, Leonor Varela. I'm from Peru and it was too hard to have this movie. One friend sent it to me from United States. Really this version must be given around the world. But I have that movie, and I am happy to see it. Many times, yeah many times. Gloria Anticona, from Peru. Really all the passion, betrayal, of this movie is very nice. This film was fun and entertaining. For sure, Timothy Dalton as Caesar and Billy Zane as Mark Anthony were brilliant, in my opinion. And Leonor Varela did an okay job as Cleopatra, I think. The story is fine, I like the cinematography and costumes, but the battle scenes are very poor, to be honest. But I guess that is to be expected of a TV movie. The most important thing for me though was Cleopatra herself, because I am a big fan. I used to read many books about her when I was younger, and she always fascinated me. She still does. I doubt she was beautiful to the standards of our time, but when I saw Cleopatra in this movie, I didn't care. I wanted to believe she was as completely insanely beautiful and seductive as Leonor Varela is in this movie. A few times in this film she says that she's a goddess, and she does indeed look like one. Amazing. Hollywood strikes again. The miniseries tries to cram too much into too little time. The first part was great mainly due to Timothy Dalton. He played a very strong Caesar. The second part lost its drive. I don't know if it was casting or plot. Just watch the first part. You know what happens in the end anyway. This above-average made-for-TV epic has roughly the same structure as Mankiewicz's largely underrated work. The first part deals with Cleopatra and Julius Caesar, then the second part is about her affair with Mark Antony. It is entertaining stuff. Of course the lines are not on the same level as the 1963 opus they say that Mankiewicz used to rewrite them night after night. In Cleopatra, Alexander the Great's dream is reduced to a hope for a kingdom of peace and love. Cleo and Mark Antony Dixit. Shakespearean Timothy Dalton was a good choice for Caesar. They just forgot the Roman was bald. Billy Zane was also convincing as Mark Antony. Leonor Varela was okay in the first part, but she was definitely too young in the second one which demanded a more mature woman. Rupert Graves was given the part of the villain. His Octavian is so vile that Cleopatra does not even try to seduce him before committing suicide. If this book remained faithful to the book then we can only assume that the author was ignorant of history. Mark Antony never died of injuries obtained in battle as depicted. He died a coward's death by committing suicide and even then, he asked his slave to do it for him. The slave chose to kill himself instead. In the real story Mark Antony was ashamed by the slave's great valor and decided to copy him. But even in death Mark Antony was a drunken failure and failed at his own suicide attempt. He cried out for Cleopatra and was taken to her, bleeding. She hauled his litter up on ropes and Mark Antony died a while later. If you want history, don't watch this movie. If you want a romantic drive then you will probably enjoy it. Another rape of history. This movie is a catastrophe. It just uses a historic story and makes a sweet love story, with bad acting and low-budget production. The movie should be 1/3 the time. They just drag the time to make a mini-series. The battle scenes are so stupid and illogical, the soldiers log stupid, the costumes a catastrophe. The Romans were good in fighting in opened areas. One of their armies was completely destroyed by the Germans when they tried to fight in a forest. In this movie the Romans choose to fight inside the city, I mean get real. And by the way Cleopatra was from a Macedonian origin, which means a light-skinned person.